Okay. All right. Have my mic on now. How's everybody doing? Please make sure you jump in the chat tonight. Give us your feedback, your thoughts, any questions you have. Let's make this a engaging, meaningful conversation, right? And we're going to get started here in a couple moments. Give folks a chance to jump on and join us. Once again, thank you for being here with me. And also, if you haven't had an opportunity to go on my YouTube page and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Meaningful Conversations with Dr. Devin Oten, please do so. Share with your friends, share with family. Comment, please comment. Um, we're trying to grow the channel, and we had a bit of a spurt last week, and we'd like to continue that momentum this week. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that bell so you'll be alerted of when we go live or when I drop videos, drop some content. Yes. Hey, cuz, how you doing tonight? All right. Thank you for joining us. Alexa, pause. All right, tonight we're going to be talking about clarity comes after movement. So many times I see people get paralyzed, right? They have some things they want to do, things they want to accomplish, things start, right? Whether that be a business, going back to school, starting a family, getting married. And, we always make up these reasons or excuses as to why we can't do it. But clarity comes after you start moving. Hi, babe. Clarity comes after you start moving, okay? After you start doing some things. So, all right. Hopefully, you had a good day. Good. Action precedes clarity, right? Many people wait until they feel certain before they move forward. In reality, direction often becomes clear or more clear after we start moving, after we start doing something, right? So, overthinking, and I've been guilty of it, overthinking delays progress. Overthinking delays progress. We think about it too much. Stop thinking, do it, right? Do your research and do it. Take that first step, like the Chinese proverb, the journey of 1,000 miles must begin with the first step. And we get paralyzed. We can't take that first step. So overthinking delays progress. Movement creates clarity. Once we start taking those steps to launch, right? Clarity begins to happen. Once we figure out what it is that we want to do and we start moving, the resources will begin to manifest themselves. But it won't manifest, it won't happen if we don't move, if we don't do something. You want to pull up the chair? Okay. So you want to stand up? All right. So once again, thank you for joining me tonight on Meaningful Conversations with Dr. Devin Oten. Tonight we're talking about, getting out of our own way, right? Waiting for things to be crystal clear before we launch, before we move, before we do something. So many people believe they need perfect clarity, a perfect situation, a perfect environment, a perfect atmosphere before they take the next steps in life, whether that be career, something, a purpose, a business, whatever it is. However, I've learned over the years that clarity rarely comes before action. It often comes because of action, right?
Mm.
In this episode of Meaningful Conversations, we're going to explore why movement is one of the most powerful tools for discovering direction. I hear people say all the time, man, I want to know what the Lord is saying, or I want to, be very clear on what it is that I'm doing. And sometimes that can cause us to procrastinate, stagnate, and miss our window of opportunity. So we're going to explore movement as one of the most powerful tools for discovering your direction. Waiting for certainty can keep you stuck, but progress often begins with imperfect steps forward, right? You learn from those mistakes. You become a better person, a better businessman or woman, a better educator. Whatever it is, you become better if you just take those steps and you begin a-okay, ideal, perfect. You want everything to make sense before you act.
Mm.
This conversation may change how you approach your next decision. So, of course, welcome back to those who are joining me tonight on Meaningful Conversations. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you something. How many opportunities have we missed because we were waiting for clarity? Think about that for a minute. How many opportunities? I know I have missed a bunch of opportunities because I was waiting for something to click, something to happen, some divine sign to come down from heaven for me to do what I felt in my heart I wanted to do, maybe even needed to do. So, how many opportunities? Think about it. Have we missed? Have you missed? Have I missed? Because we're waiting for clarity. We're waiting until we feel ready, right?
Yeah.
We're waiting
Yeah.
until we have the perfect plan in place,
Yeah.
waiting until we are certain about what it is that we want to do or think we should be doing. But the truth is, clarity often doesn't come for movement, it comes after it. I can remember when I was looking to start a landscaping business, and I had done a little research, and I just kind of thought, the area that I was living in, it was starting to grow. At the time, there was 18 new subdivisions being built around the subdivision that I lived in. And I said, man, this may be a great opportunity um, to do this. So, I asked a few people in my neighborhood. I said, hey, I see you got somebody coming to take care of your lawn, do your landscaping. I'm thinking about launching a business. Would you consider giving me your business? And one of the things I learned quickly in talking to neighbors in my neighborhood is most of the people who came and did their lawns lived outside of the community, right?
Mm.
So I was like, you know what? This could create an opportunity for people to say, you know what? I want to hire somebody that's very local, somebody who's right in the neighborhood, somebody who's right here in the community. So I did my research looking for equipment and where I could get that equipment serviced, all of those sorts of things. And I just went on and launched. I went and got the equipment, uh, you know, 0 degree commercial lawnmowers, the commercial blowers, commercial weed eaters. I just went on and did it. And then I designed some postcards with the name of the business on it, 3D landscaping and lawn care, and had the number, email on there, had a nice little catchphrase. And then I
I
got I
remember.
got both of my kids, I can't remember. I got both of my kids together and I said, you know what? All these neighborhoods around here, we're gonna go and walk neighborhoods. Of course, they complained about it, right? But we went out and put those knockers or whatever you call them, postcards on everybody's door. And within a couple days, started getting calls, right? Hey, could you come by, take a look at my yard? Tell me what it costs for you to maintain it every week. Tell me what it'll cost for you to do some land. Been wanting to do some landscaping. Give me some ideas. Draw up, a design for me, whatever, whatever. And within a couple of weeks, I had a full-fledged business. But if I had stayed there, just kept thinking about it, trying to figure out will this work, and steps to go and talk to
Yeah.
some of my neighbors, just thinking about the environment, all of these neighborhoods coming up, they're going to need people to take care of the lawns. And, there was this one neighborhood maybe a half a mile down the street from my neighborhood. And I had several people call me from my postcard, and they signed a contract. I had contracts, all of that, and went out and did the yards, installed some landscaping, and then the builder in that community, had talked to several of these customers of mine. They say, "Oh, he's always on time. He does great work. He's this, that, and the other." He called me and hired me to do um, the landscaping and cutting the grass in the community, keeping the green areas in the neighborhood cut and maintained, and all those things. But if you don't just launch, start taking steps, things are not going to happen, right? So we can't wait for it to be certain. We can't wait for it to feel like it's time. We can't wait for the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity. We got to just move. All right. So tonight we're talking about why taking the next step may actually be things that reveal the path, reveals your path. Just taking that step reveals your path. So, behavioral science shows that action reduces anxiety and uncertainty faster than analysis alone. Just constantly thinking about it, constantly doing research. What I've noticed is a lot of people who really deal with heavy depression, symptoms of depression, are those who sit and stew in whatever it is that they're dealing with, stew in whatever it is that they're going through, instead of getting up and doing something, right? Okay, you may be depressed because you lost your job, right? Well, let's get up and let's do something, right? In the meantime, let's figure out, let's get another certification. Let's think about starting a business. Let's get out there, get some resumes out. Whatever those steps are, we got to do that, because if not, we're gonna sit there, be depressed, sulking, and next thing you know, we're gonna have all kinds of issues, right? We're gonna have weight issues, mental health issues, health, our physical health, all of those things, because we didn't take some steps, take some actions. So behavioral science shows us that action reduces anxiety and uncertainty, and it does it faster than thinking about it and analysis alone. Movement breaks that mental gridlock, right? Movement makes us. I mean, when I feel like I'm starting to get this sense of depression, the sense of hopelessness is a word, but just to accentuate what I'm talking about, man, I got a bunch of stuff to do in the yard, so I can go to Home Depot and get fungicide that I need to put on my vines as they're starting to sprout out now. I mean, literally overnight. Uh, treating the roses, treating the lemon, the orange trees, all of these things that we got going on, and it keeps me activated. It keeps ideas flowing because I'm moving, I'm doing something, I'm not just sitting around sulking, right? So overthinking delays growth. Research on decision making shows that excessive analysis can lead to decision paralysis. You'll be paralyzed from making a decision because you just keep analyzing. Oh, what if this happens? Oh, what if that happens? Oh, what if, whatever takes place? Oh, I could launch right now. And the next thing you know, I messed up and I've created this problem, this issue, whatever. You can't be concerned about that. You just got to take those steps, right? And then learn from those mistakes that you make. So progress often requires imperfect decisions. The greatest, largest companies started, some of them fail when they first started. Some of them fail the first three, four, 5 times before they actually hit and started to see success begin to happen.
Wasn't that like that reminded me of something? Was it Michael Jordan who didn't? Was it Michael Jordan?
In high school, when he got cut from his high school team,
Yeah, yeah,
yep, he got cut from his high school team, went in the gym, got in the lab, and worked on his game. And the next year, he made the team, and the rest is
and the
history, right?
rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
In other words, you don't have to stay in the place that you're actually in.
No.
You have to continue fighting to get to where you want to be.
And that's a good example
Yeah.
because he got cut and he went in the lab and worked on his game, right? So experience creates insight. When we experience things, we should learn.
Hmm.
We should learn from the things that we experience. So people, you and I, we gain clarity through feedback from real world experiences, not speculation. Because that's what happens a lot of times. We speculate on what might happen, what could happen.
We talk ourselves out of it, right?
We will talk ourselves clean out of it, straight out of it.
Yeah. Why, as humans, we think about all that bad things that can happen, other than all the positive things that can happen?
And a lot of times we are more afraid of success than we are of failure. We are more afraid to succeed at something than we are necessarily to fail at something. Yeah. So we learn more from movement than from waiting. Doing something, you're going to learn more from doing something than sitting there
Sitting there
waiting.
waiting.
So momentum builds confidence. Once people start taking steps, that first step, their confidence
Mhm.
and willingness to take additional steps increases. Once you take that step, you see some success or you see where you made a mistake and that mistake showed you that, man, this could be a idea, this could be a great opportunity. You go back to the drawing board, you redesign, you get in your mode of being an architect, redesign and say, you know what? Let me do it different next time. I'm gonna do it this way instead of that way. So once you get to that place where you can take that first step, confidence begins to grow.
Mm. Yeah.
You start to
Yeah.
get that assurance, man. I can actually do this. That
Mm.
first yard, and I was like, oh my goodness, man, I don't want to mess up this yard. I want to
Mm.
make sure I get the right sod to put down. Make sure I got the right soil, sand underneath. And I was nervous, nervous, nervous. I remember when I was younger, they used to say, nervous as a hook in church. Nervous, nervous, nervous,
Oh my
right?
God.
And that first yard, after a couple of weeks, that sod took, the shrubs took, the borders that I put down took, the flowering plants took. And I would go by there and make sure to water it because that first customer, she was a dear senior lady. She was in her 80s, right?
Oh wow.
She hired me.
Super season.
Yes, and I wanted to make sure everything was right with her particular yard. And man, everything turned out beautiful. She was so excited.